this little short bridge, and it's like, even if you've never seen this, you've seen enough stuff, you would probably go, oh, the bridge is going to collapse, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen an adventure TV show ever, you know what's coming next.
Yeah, exactly. And so, of course, it does, and then Riker saves Riker too, and blah, blah, blah. And then we don't get to see anything else, so it's like, I guess they're fine with each other now? They're not fighting anymore?
Yeah, like, I guess they're okay with each other, because when Riker 2 leaves, Riker gives him a trombone.
Mm-hmm. And why didn't they have Riker 2 save Riker 1? Like, I feel like that would have been more like...
Yes, I was just thinking that. Yes.
Like, oh, yes, you saved my life, and you're not too bad of a guy because you're me, so here is a trombone. That you could replicate and have your own anyway.
That's like, yeah, I think if Riker 2 had saved Riker 1, I think this episode is I think that ending is much more satisfying.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, because, you know, I mean, this is where we get the thing with Worf and Data talking about, you know, would you want to, you know, talk to yourself or or would you be friends with yourself? Which, you know, would either one of you be friends with yourselves? I think I know the answers for both of you, but I already said that I think I'm annoying, so no.
It's such a weird question to ask yourself, like, would I be friends with myself? And I think the natural human answer is to think about all of the qualities in yourself that you don't like, and imagine it be, like, reflected a million times, right? So if somebody thinks that they're, like, let's say, too needy or too clingy, they would imagine a version of themselves where they're so clingy, it's unbearable, right? And they'd be like, oh, I would never be friends with myself. But I think that's just how we see ourselves, but our friends see us differently, right? Because how many times have, you know, someone says, oh, I'm so clingy, or I'm so whatever, and your friends are like, no, you're not. I think you're great just the way you are. And they really mean that. You know, so it's like, but we're so critical of ourselves. I think that's definitely human nature.
That's a good answer, but going around the question. But that's fine. It was still a good answer.
I mean, because, like, would I be friends with myself? No, I wouldn't be.
And that's what I figured everyone's answer would be. Well, I mean, there's probably some people out there that are narcissistic enough that would be like, oh, yeah, sure. Of
course I'd be friends with me. I'm amazing.
Right.
My answer was going to be yes, because I'm so detached from everybody else and recluse that I think myself would be recluse, and we could get along because we wouldn't hang around with each other.
It does, you know, you're an android, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, right.
You're an android.
We'd be like, dude, wouldn't it be cool to have a third one of us that could do all our chores for us? We'd be like, oh yeah, and it would turn into like multiplicity.
Yeah. Because none of them would want to do the chores.
No, that's true.
Oh, I love that. That's hilarious. Yeah, I know that spending months with my father doing like updates to my condo before I moved in, he has a lot of things about himself that I see in myself that get on my nerves, and I'm like, we butt heads enough. I can't imagine if it was like full on me. But I'm always definitely like, how does anybody deal with me? And thank you to all of you. I really do appreciate it. So anyway.
I just noticed that none of us really corrected or said any compliments as we all said the bad things about ourselves. We were like, Yeah, we just tolerate you. Every single one of us did it.
I would laugh at my own jokes because I already laugh at my own jokes, so it's not like I need to explain that. Anybody who's listened to me for any amount of time knows that I laugh at my own jokes, so, you know.
Your jokes are funny.
Yeah.
They are funny.
Anyway, so yeah, we don't see what happens to them when they do the core thing. We just know that they fixed it because Data and Worf are able to get the stuff off the database and, you know, mission complete. So then we get another Captain's Log Stardate 46920.1, and now, of course, we know that they had 3 days to do this. This was the third window, so it's Saturday, August 9th, 2369, and it is about 6:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, is what it told me. Eastern Daylight Time. So, and then, you know, Picard, in his voiceover, says that they've retrieved the database, and it's like, yeah, we know that because, I mean, unless there was a problem after Data said, we can retrieve the database.
Right, exactly.
So we see Riker 2 in his quarters, and Troy comes in, and she's like, you know what, I like everything the way it is, like we've talked about, and so he's just kind of, you know, sad about it or whatever. But Riker 1 comes in and gives, as we also mentioned, the wonderful trombone, which I'm always... You know, like sometimes whenever they play to the strengths of the actor, like things that they do or whatever, like on Saved by the Bell, Mario Lopez was, you know, a wrestler and a dancer, and he played drums and all this stuff, so they had him do all those things. But like, to me, him playing the trombone is ridiculous. And I don't know if it's because it's a starship or what, but it always makes me giggle.
He would have been better fitted, and it would have went really good along if he played the saxophone, just because of his demeanor. Because the saxophone is it's almost like a seductive instrument. That's what I would picture him going after.
See, that's how we know that he was more of a dork when he was younger, which is fine because. Speaking as a dork myself.
I played the trumpet, so I concur.
I didn't play anything growing up.
I was a clarinet.
I played the piano, too.
Oh my gosh, I'm jealous. I have zero musical talent.
I have 2 guitars and a mandolin. I don't have any more clarinets, though. Also, I didn't know that you played the piano, Eric. That's exciting.
They don't play anymore. I'm terrible.
Okay. I mean, I'm not that great at the guitar or anything anymore, but, you know, we could still form a band, and Rebecca can sing.
Oh, thanks. I mean, I don't sing well, but I'll sing, sure.
See, I knew you would say that. That's why I laughed. I knew you'd be like, oh, yeah.
We just need one more. We got Wild Stallions, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Off topic here, but the S and Stallions would be the 2.
Oh.
Anyway, okay, so, yeah, he gets a trombone. Oh, thank you for this trombone. And, he's like, you know what, guys? I decided I want to go by my middle name of Thomas, because I kind of like it. And then Riker 1's like, I always hated that name. And I'm like, Riker, I feel you, because I always hated my first name. But we're not going to get into that. So, you know, he picks up the trombone and his tiny little luggage, which it's not the, like, capsule one that I love, but whatever, that's fine. And he picks up his tiny little luggage and he's like, you take care of her son. He didn't say son, but, you know, that's kind of the feeling it was. Yeah, the whole
take care of her. Yeah, I think she's okay.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, she's a lieutenant commander Starfleet. I think she's okay.
Mm-hmm. She didn't have to do her, you know, these officer trial tests courses or whatever, but she did it because she wanted to. Because she was already, like, a level, and she didn't have to do it because of her job. But you know what? She's like, I'm going to go, and I'm going to take these courses, and I'm going to better myself, and I'm going to have fun, and I don't need you. Or you. Because, you know, she's talking to both Rikers. So then it's kind of awkward for a second, which that was granted to be awkward because they know, both Riker 1 and Troy know that she can take care of herself, so it's okay. But then they hold hands and go out, and it's the end. And I'm like, what? Okay. All right. That's fine.
I mean, she is sad to see him go. Like, you do see that she does. Yeah. You see her kind of controlling her emotions there and holding it back, and I think Riker 1 knows that. Like, he doesn't. Like I do like how the episode ends. I like the sort of bittersweet ending of, you know, him leaving and her knowing she makes the right choice, but still being sad. And I think that that's very, you know, that's very human, right? Like, sometimes we have to make choices that we know it's the right choice, even if it makes us sad to do it. And this was the best choice for her.
Right. And you know, because I think part of her would want him to maybe stay there to be with her, and then he could sort of, you know, move up on the Enterprise or whatever. But because, you know, he's asking her every time, no matter which version of him it is, he's asking her to do all this stuff for him, and it's like, hey, don't you think I want to have my own life and do my own things? Like, why can't you do something for me every once in a while?
No, exactly. And you know, he's even, I can't serve on this ship, and he's here. Like,
did I sound bitter enough that you know that I had personal experience?
I would go on the limb to say that most women have had that experience. So I get it. I've had the experience too, where it's like you're being asked to do all the heavy lifting in a relationship, and the other person is not willing to do it. And that's what's happening here with Riker 2 and, well, with both Rikers and Troy. Like, they want her to do all this heavy lifting in the relationship, and they not willing to just show up for it. So, yeah, she made the right choice to be like, I think I'll wait for somebody who's willing to be an equal partner.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, so do we have any more? Is there any other kind of trivia or anything that, any other, I don't know, comments or anything anybody wants to make about this episode?
Other than just thinking that this had such an opportunity to teach so many different valuable lessons and create a lot of creative growth within the Riker and Thomas both, that it, as much as I really loved the idea, everything this episode explored, those lessons were never taught, and it was never really wrapped up in a bow. I mean, Thomas even showed up in Deep Space Nine, and all it really did was, this is the little more risky Riker is what it is. And that's fine, but it's just Star Trek does such a good job teaching us stuff that this really only taught us that Riker is a tool.
I want to know what Riker 2 feels about Riker 1 actually getting to marry Troy.
Oh, can you imagine? I mean, would he even know? I mean, I guess spoilers if you haven't seen the Deep Space Nine episode that Thomas Riker shows up in, but he's a Maquis agent and ends up going to jail. So I don't know if he'd even know.
I mean, they probably don't have like visitation rights or anything in that jail. It's not like Earth jail.
Probably not. Yeah.
All right, cool. So that was fun. Eric, do you have anything you need to plug? You want to let people know where they can find you? If not, that's fine. But
the only thing I'm really doing anymore right now, because the Brute Force and Ignorance, a D&D podcast, is kind of on a hiatus because people are trying